I never give any grand goals or resolutions. I never make resolutions because a resolution is just testing your willpower or your ability to fight things. If you really want to change a habit, you've got to begin a new behavior, and you've got to stay consistent with that behavior for at least 6 weeks. And why do I say 6 weeks? Because it is said that the blood in your body changes, is like new after 6 weeks. Your body consists mainly of water, right? There's blood flowing in your body, all the enzymes, everything. There's a lot of fluid in you. And water has the capacity to absorb every kind of vibration. So when you make a change, all the thoughts that are given out through it get absorbed in that fluid, and they move through your system. They get stuck in your chakra. So when you really don't want to make that change, your body knows. Your body has got intelligence far superior to yours. If you just trust the body, it will give you signals about what needs to change and how it can be done. We just have to stop interfering with our minds. So if you want to, say, stop drinking, and you try to tell yourself, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop drinking, I'll never drink again. The first thing you're going to reach for at the moment when you're the weakest, like when you're feeling tired and when you're frustrated, you're going to say, forget it, I'm going to have a drink. Always happens. That always happens. That's why I don't make resolutions. You have to literally, if it's a habit that's hurting you, if it's a habit that's it's a habit of drugs or a habit of alcohol or a habit of smoking, the only way to create a new path for yourself is to just switch direction completely. So now, you've got to remember that you're just a non-drinker. The option is not there for you at all. If you give yourself an option, say, I have a choice, or if you think about it, the more you think about it, the more it's going to go. So what do you do in those moments when it's overpowering, when it's a feeling that, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to do this? This is where the breath comes in. You breathe and you let go and you're like, I can do this. I can do this. Just for this moment, I can do it. Don't try to make drastic changes for the rest of your life. That's too much. That is too difficult. To say that I won't eat chocolate for the rest of my life, guaranteed in 5 days you'll pick up the next chocolate. Don't do that to yourself. Set small goals. Set small goals. For this week, I won't take a chocolate. And then you know that next week you can have the chocolate. So it's not too bad. You go through one day and you say, wow, I did it one day. I'm a non-chocolate eater for one day. And then you do the next day and you do the next day. But you do it just for the day. Just for the moment. There's only this moment, you see. There's only this time. It's much easier on yourself that way. Don't try to make changes for the rest of your life because nobody can keep it. Nobody can keep a resolution for the rest of their lives. Situations change, things become different dramatically. And it's not only bad habits that you need to change. There are many habits that can be changed. Now, for example, I'm trying to make my husband eat before 8 o'clock. And so far, in the last 3 years, I have failed miserably because till the clock reaches 8, he will not come to the table, no matter what I do. It's good for you. I'll send him videos that say that fasting is a great lifestyle. It's good to eat your food 3 hours before you go to sleep. I can tell him what I want. But until he reaches a moment in his life where he says, I would like to eat at 7 o'clock, I'm not going to do it. We cannot try to change other people's lives and other people's habits. Remember that always, that it's not a good idea to try and fix people. Somebody needs to be fixed. You can't fix anybody. You can't fix anybody. Just remember that. You can barely fix yourself. Changing a habit means that you have to reflect. What am I doing in my daily routine that's not working out fine, or that's making me feel unfulfilled? Am I spending too much time cooking? Am I spending too much time out of the house? Am I not exercising at all? Am I exercising too much? You have to look at your day and see the structure and see if you change something small, can it make a huge difference in your life? What are you making as a priority? Small changes can make big differences. Now, I went to stay for 3 weeks in my daughter's house, and I couldn't do anything because every time baby is taking a nap. So I was kind of stuck. I can't exercise, I can't talk on the phone, I can't make noise in the kitchen, I can't cook. This was quite a challenge. I'm used to a routine. I live such a scheduled life where there is a time for exercise, a time for cooking, a time for this. All that went out the window, and I still had to present a happy face. That was a challenge. Sometimes you're put in situations where you have to make changes. You have to change and be okay with that change. Traveling is another thing that opens you up to changing routines. When you travel, you plan a lot of things. And then suddenly everything goes wrong. One flight gets delayed and everything goes wrong. And you can't get to the hotel on time, you can't eat your food on time. Things change. And you have to be okay with change. Because one thing that's for certain, that's for sure, life is constantly changing. And your habits as a 12-year-old and your habits as a 50-year-old or a 60-year-old is different. Totally different. And this happened slowly. You did adapt, you did change. But we never pause to reflect, to see. I'm quite happy with the way everything is going. I feel fine. I feel good. Nothing needs to change. My life is perfect. Then suddenly, the blood work report comes. Now something has to change. Something definitely has to change. And it's so difficult to do that. It is so difficult to do that. You'll do it If you realize your life depends on it, if it's a question of survival, you will do it. That to make you live a little bit longer. That's about the only thing. Or if your, life is in danger. I remember when my daughter was a child, I think she took some $10 from her older sister, and we caught her and we told her, we took her to the altar and we said, God is watching you. And, did you take the money? And she was like, no. God knows everything. Did you take the money? No. She says, okay, I'm going to call the police. And then suddenly the money came out of her pocket. She couldn't be bothered about God, but she was definitely worried that the police will come and catch her. I mean, she was all of 6 or 7, small child like that. Right? The things that make us own up to things or say things or the things that propel us are all very different. Some of us are scared and we follow certain routines because we're scared that God will punish us if we don't do it that way. Some of us do it because of our health. Some of us do it because we're scared of somebody. A mother-in-law, a husband. And while that situation might not apply to you, there are many people in the world that are stuck in routines, in habits, in situations that they cannot change. They can't do anything about it. If you want to change a habit, it requires a lot of inner strength. A lot of fortitude, you got to believe in that moment that this is what I have to do for myself. It was like that, but no more is it like that. Now I have to go down another path. It is very difficult. It's when you have a baby, for 40 years, 35 years, you've lived a carefree life. You've gone to the gym when you wanted, drunk a cup of coffee when you wanted, read a story when you wanted, watched a movie when you wanted. Now you can do nothing. And then your entire schedule is planned around your children, right? And then they just leave and they go. And now again, there is that transition in your life where your schedules need to change, your habits need to change, your focus needs to change. And that is extremely, extremely difficult. I have a student in the other class who spent the last 2 years nursing her mother, who had very severe diabetes. And it was, her whole life has been her mom. And she was despairing because her mother was desperately ill. Okay. But last week she passed away. Now she's lost. She doesn't know what to do with herself. Because her entire life had been tailored around her mother's needs. Everything centered around, okay, now what? Now what am I going to do with my life? Now what am I going to change? And that is scary. It is very scary when you have to make a drastic change to your life. Everything is going perfectly. Everything is going perfectly. There's a huge stock market crash. And you lose everything. Everything that you owned. I mean, this has happened to so many people. You don't want the universe to make the changes for you. You want to make the changes voluntarily before that. To change the way you think about the world, to change your relationship with money, to change the way you react to this world, you react to your family, you react to people there and not there. How attached are you to the people around you? Right? we have to mentally prepare ourselves to change habits. Habits are very good. Habits are very good because they give us routine. We like routine. We want to control things as much as possible. So we create these habits, these routines for ourselves. If I ask you, how did you get from your house to mine? You probably can't tell me. You just got into your car and then you arrived here. You were not looking at things happening or anybody coming. We are creatures of habit. We do things automatically. We like things at a certain time. We like to have our coffee at a certain time, eat at a certain time. We only go out to certain restaurants on certain days of the week. We like that, right? You want anything different is not acceptable. But sometimes you need to test the waters. You need to step out of that little comfortable circle and see what's out there. And you'd be amazed at how beautiful the world is and what you're capable of and what you're missing by not testing out the waters. Yeah, it's comfortable to be in that little zone at home with your routines or at work, wherever, whatever your life is. But test something new. Change something in your life. Try something different. Try something new. Help somebody in need. I always like to do that. Every few years, I'm always doing something new and something different. I get scared in the beginning. In the beginning, it feels like, oh my God, it's not going to succeed. It's not going to do well. But it's fine. You got to try it. Only when you try things, then you'll see whether that's what you're meant for. That's what you're meant for. I told my daughter a long time back to go to a cordon bleu cooking class. Should not go. She says, I won't go because they cut meat there. She doesn't eat meat. But look at how it's turned out, that she's become so involved in cooking. That was her passion, and that's where she feels most comfortable. And starting a blog on Instagram was hard for her. It was not easy. She had no money, no finances. Everything had to be done on her own. She had to learn how to create a website, create a blog. But she did it and she was instantly successful. Whenever you have a desire that comes from within, your body knows what you need. And it's telling you to leave this and do that. You got to try it out. You got to test the waters and see if that's what is right for you. And if you're comfortable, everything's going well, that's a good thing. Be happy now. I can't guarantee that it's going to be the same next year or the year after that. Things will change and you will have to change with it. That's the way life goes. Om Namah Shivaya. Hey everyone, thanks for visiting my channel, and if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit the red subscribe button and turn on notifications so I can continue to bring you more content just like this on knowledge, on meditation, and on insights for a happy life. Don't forget, happiness is your birthright.